Welcome back to Off The Syllabus, where we unpack the choices that shapes careers. Today's guest is someone who knows exactly why some brands stick and others fade away. Dr. Julian Vieceli is an associate professor of marketing management at Swinburne University of Technology. He's a published researcher, a branding expert, and an advisor to major names like Siemens, Coles, and Oprah Australia. But beyond the strategy and science, Julian is passionate about helping the next generation understand what really drives decisions and how you can become unforgettable in a world full of noise. In this episode, together, let's explore how Gen Z can build personal and professional brands that resonate and how to cut through overwhelming choices to find clarity and direction. If you are asking, what should I study or what will make me stand out, this conversation is your roadmap. Let's go off the syllabus with Dr. Julian Vieceli. So we dive into stage 1, rapid fire. Good quiz with Julia. Question number 1.
My favorite brand?
Yeah. What brand was your first obsession as a kid?
Ferrari. Beautiful, elegant, timeless, stunning, and they won everything. It's just the most perfect brand that ever existed.
Does it have to do anything with you being Italian?
That has a lot to do with me being Italian. But it's just the color, the fire engine red, the design process, the way they make it, and the fact that they never ever change quality. The quality's always top class. And the sound of a Ferrari, my favorite brand is Ferrari, still is, for the simple fact that you don't need to know anything about it, but when one drives by, you turn and you look at it. And if you hear it, you stop and you turn and you go, I know that sound. And you might never have seen one before, but it will turn heads. That for me is a perfect brand.
Yeah. Will they make electric cars by any chance?
Yeah.
Will they?
Electric cars are faster. They already make four-wheel drives, which I don't like. They've got big Ferrari four-wheel drives, but the classic sports car, they'll make an electric one.
The noise and the red.
They're not. Yeah, the problem with them is the noise goes.
Yeah.
So I've got an electric car at home, and it plays a tune because you've got to warn people you're coming. But yeah, the Ferrari noise is beautiful. I don't know if you've heard it, but it just resonates deep within my soul. It's a lovely thing.
Yeah. Sports or streaming? What gets your attention first?
It depends on my mood. So sports, I'm a football fan, an AFL football fan. I support my home team, Adelaide. We're doing well this year. Sports is something for me that I used to play a lot of. I don't play much anymore. Streaming's good late at night when I'm tired. I will look at content that I'm a massive podcast fan. So I listen to murder podcasts, news podcasts, and documentaries. I like to learn things.
What sort of documentaries that?
Weird documentaries. So how money's made, how to make money, how things are made. Engineering type podcasts. They really fascinate me. I'm not an engineer, but I like to know how things are made.
I've also come across a lot of documentaries about how do you make money online and all that.
Yep.
Do they really work?
No, they're called clickbait. So they will get you to follow something, then they'll recommend something for you. Some work, but if it was that easy, we'd all be billionaires, yeah?
Yeah.
It's not that easy, so that's why we still have to work, yeah.
That's a good one, yeah. So if not branding, what would you be teaching?
Chemistry. My first degree was pharmacy. I have an abiding passion for chemistry. Really amazing degree, didn't like the job. But it was the best thing I've ever studied. It was fantastic and it's life-changing. You understand more about the world and you can see the physical reactions and the chemicals changing. Also understanding more about the body and how chemicals interact. So how drugs work, what medicines can do to make us healthy. All of that. I love chemistry.
So your first degree was in chemistry?
Yeah.
Wow. So
many academics, you'll find they did a science degree first and then they did something like business. The thing about doing something like pharmacy was you learned discipline, structure, and very good mathematics and statistics, which have helped me a lot.
Yeah, I also believe in that. I mean, I think when you do a science degree, your brain is trained in such a way to be analytical, critical about and
logical thinking is really important, and understanding why decisions are made. So it's not just the feeling, you've actually got data to support what you're doing. I'm a big believer that everyone should use data really well. And the better data you have, the better decisions you make. I don't like making decisions without data. They're bad decisions.
That, especially in the current generation, right?
Yeah.
Everything is about it.
And we have AI to help us. So yeah, AI can take a massive data set, filter it down, make it really useful if you use it properly.
Thanks for that. In a world full of brands, what's a brand that you think is overrated?
Tesla. Tesla was great when it first came out. It was really good. Changed the market. Now we've got BYD and Chinese brands that are, there's a BYD car that can do a rapid charge in 45 minutes. So you can charge from 0 to 100% in 45 minutes. So Tesla's stuck. They released the Cybertruck, which, is ugly, and also not very good. It's not fit for purpose. So Tesla's been trading on its brand name for too long, and now it's suffering. So its share price is down. Consumers aren't happy, and the consumers are actually getting rid of the product. So a good product for me, or a good brand for me, is one that you cling on to over time. Go back to Ferrari. People that own a Ferrari don't sell a Ferrari.
Yeah.
They keep it forever and ever because it's beautiful. Tesla was amazing, but they've taken their eye off the ball. If you want a successful brand, you need to keep working on it and working on it. And people don't love brands. They will be loyal to a brand, but my area of research is branding, so we have split loyalty. So I'm really loyal to Coke, but if I can't get Coke, I'll drink Pepsi. And so I would say I'm a loyal Coke drinker unless there's no Coke. People are the same with Tesla. There's a better car out there. It's cheaper, more efficient, and far better. Tesla's not a good brand.
Yeah, and especially the Chinese ones. I mean, some of them, they look like supercars.
Yeah, and they're fast. So Tesla came on the market and was super quick. The BYD brand has a car that's quicker and better.
And I mean, especially in this market, you see many brands. I mean, some of the brands I haven't heard before.
Yep, lots of them. And Polestar is another one. They're just good brands, and they're making a really high quality product. Tesla's slipped.
Good. So are you a car guy? Because
no, not at all. I drive Honda ZR-V. It's a really boring car. No, I just like brands, not cars. Formula One, however, I like.
So talking about brands, Julian, greatest brand comeback of all time?
Apple.
Apple?
When they sacked Steve Jobs initially, the Apple brand lost its way. It got confused. They started to make, their products were okay, but they didn't understand the Apple ethos. They didn't understand the Apple way. So for me, branding isn't about a product. It's about making consumers happy, but being consistent, having high quality and promise. They sacked Steve Jobs and Apple started to slide. They brought Steve Jobs back with John Ivey, who's the designer. Suddenly Apple's the biggest brand in the world, and it's worth trillions, and it is a great, great brand. For me, that's a great comeback. Didn't invest too much, but got the right people back in the right jobs who understood what the brand stood for.
So that sort of comes to where people who are driving brands, right?
Yep.
How much you understand the brand. And
one of my favorite sayings is companies don't own brands, consumers do. And if you lose your consumers, your brand's dead. So in the mind of the consumer, they're the ones who own your brand. So you technically own the brand name, but the consumers own the brand value. So if I decide tomorrow that I don't like your brand and all of your buyers decide that, then you're in trouble. So this is why we need to understand our consumers, move with them, change with the times, and make sure that the product we're delivering, Farzan, is actually moving and meeting the needs of consumers.
And then also you localize, right?
Yep.
To the demographics,
global but local.
Yes.
Yeah. So understand your current market, where you're working, and it's a different offer, or a slightly different offer in every market with a consistent brand coming through.
Oh, great. Ever gone to an event just because of the hype?
Yeah. Yeah, when I was much younger, I used to go to a lot of concerts.
Okay.
Bands I had no idea who they were, and just went and had a great time. Didn't know their music, but it wasn't about the music, it was about the people that went. The first Grand Prix in Australia was in Adelaide, and I went just because I could hear the noise, and I thought, this looks really cool. Didn't know a lot about Grand Prix racing at that time, but it was fantastic. Adelaide's my hometown in South Australia, so where I was living at the time was literally 100 meters from the racetrack. So it was beautiful, yeah.
So you still go? Or?
No. I went to everyone in Adelaide, then I went to the first 3 or 4 in Melbourne, but I'm sort of busy now, so it's slipped the radar.
What's your guilty pleasure, Netflix or YouTube?
That's a really good question. YouTube documentaries, much more interesting. Netflix is great, so I watch Netflix with my family. We have really different tastes. The thing I like about Netflix is, depending on whose account you're using, the same show will have a different promotion. So when my wife watches, when she watches a promotion for a show, it concentrates on the romance. And when I watch a promotion, it concentrates on the action. And that's based on, it knows what I like, it knows what she likes. So you can see the same trailer for the same movie, but it'll be totally different depending on whose account we're using. YouTube for me is brilliant because I can look up anything. I was watching something on submarines last night. The submarines diving to the Titanic. Really brilliant, really fascinating. Something I'd never do because I'm claustrophobic, but just like to watch people in submarines. And yeah, nature documentaries, things like that.
Who gets brand salience right every single time?
Apple now. Apple are brilliant. When you think of a phone, you think Apple. So Apple Watch, Apple phone, AirPods, computer. Brand salience is top of mind. I spent a long time studying it. What brand comes to mind when you think of shampoo, soft drinks? But when you think of computers, if you're part of the Apple ecosystem, you think of nothing else. I was never an Apple guy, and then I changed to Apple. I can think of nothing else now. Every product I buy, yeah. And it's great. Yeah.
I mean, for me also, I think before I started using Apple, I was never a fan.
Yeah. Until you use it.
Yeah, until you use it.
And then you can't not use it.
Yes.
And suddenly you're wearing their watch and you've got their AirPods. I've got an iPad, I've got an iPhone. Yeah, it's really sad. And one day my daughter came home and looked at me and said, just look at yourself. She said, you might as well just send yourself to Apple. But their products are easy. The thing I like is everything's easy to use and seamlessly integrated.
So will they ever make a car? Apple?
I hope not. So yeah, there's a thing called brand extension where Xerox computers, Xerox made a photocopier, but people expected their computers to make copies. They didn't work. Singer sewing machines went into computers, didn't sew. You get brand confusion really easily. So I might always protect your brand, know what your core brand is, and don't move too far from that.
Thanks for that. Branding or pricing?
Always.
What pulls the consumer to?
Always branding. You can change your price. A loyal, and I have to, this is turning into a lecture, I have to use the term loyalty quite carefully because double jeopardy theory tells me big brands win twice, small brands lose twice. Big brands, you have awareness and you have shelf space. Smaller brands struggle to get shelf space and have lower awareness. Branding will always lead the consumer to buy the product. Yes, they might buy something on special, short term, but I can see 2 products and I'll go for my loyal product over something that's cheaper. And if you can put the price up. So a good brand has insensitivity to price. What happens is you can put the price up marginally and your consumers won't change. Whereas if you're going on price alone, everything is price. And if there's an adjustment up in the price, you lose consumers. So I'll always go for brand. Build your brand, spend time on your brand, invest heavily, and price becomes less relevant. You can still play the price game. If you want to put someone out of business, price at their price, put them out of business, and still protect your brand.
One brand you wish you had built?
That's a really, really good question. AstraZeneca, pharmaceutical brand. They make some amazing medicines. They change the world. They really help people with a range of really bad health conditions. Their research is astounding and they're worth trillions of dollars. They're just an amazing organization. Their process is excellent. They invest properly in research and development. And yeah, it's a quiet brand. A lot of people don't really consider it. It's not flashy. It's relatively boring, but they've been doing the same thing for 50 years, slowly building their brand value. And their quality is outstanding.
I mean, the only time I got to know about AstraZeneca was during COVID.
Yes, yeah. And they came up with an amazing vaccine really quickly and possibly saved millions of lives. So yeah, everyone knows AstraZeneca.
I think because of COVID. I didn't know that you said they are valued in billions.
Billions, yeah. And they invest billions. So their R&D budget is in the billions, not the millions, in the billions. Because they know that if they can come up with the next, not cure for cancer, but treatment for cancer, and cancer treatment's now moving to personalised treatment. So go into great detail, but I won't. But you get a personalised treatment now. We'll inject you with your own cells and they will fight the cancer for you. It's brilliant stuff. It's called CAR T cell therapy.
Wow.
Look it up, it's brilliant.
So this is like running a customized digital campaign.
Yep. For that customer.
Yeah, and so this is a
So
personalized.
you'll go and you'll personalise the campaign for one customer and make that customer your loyal customer forever. Or in this case, save their life. But also marketing's about reaching the masses, but also understanding that if you've got really loyal customers, you don't need to market as much to them. You'll get more money by getting people who are less loyal to become slightly more loyal. So if I drink 1 Coke every month, if I can drink 5 Cokes a month, your brand value goes up. And they're the people you want to advertise to, not the people that are drinking 20 Cokes a day, because they don't create more value.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Enjoyed much that part of the conversation.
Thank you.
Right. So we move on to stage 2, in-depth dialogue, the real world lessons.
Yep.
So let me start with the first one. So you've spent years researching why some brands stick while others fade. For a Gen Z student, what's the equivalent of brand salience in choosing a degree or a career?
So again, an excellent question, a hard question. So brand salience is top of mind awareness. So what's hot at the moment? For me, any degree that combines sustainability, artificial intelligence, and work integrated learning. So I want a job, I want a career that's going to be career proof for 5 or 10 years. So I won't need to retrain in the next 3 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years. So that's how I would choose my degree at the moment. I'd look at universities, not necessarily the big traditional universities, they're a bit stuck in their way. I'd look at smaller, younger, more agile universities that are looking to shake things up a bit, provide students with a fantastic experience, but also with a job. I want every student that comes to me, my job is to get them a job. I want to have a student that's either going to get a job or create jobs. And that's really important to me. So when I design courses, when I design information for students, it's all about you will get a job at the end of this and you'll create jobs in the future. So I'd choose, firstly, understand, if I was looking at university now, I'd try and understand where I want to be in 5 years. And that's a hard decision when you're 18. So flexibility is also important. Having an ability to, in the degree, do some slightly different things. If you're an engineer, sure, you're going to do just engineering. When I did my first degree, we didn't get to choose subjects. We got, here's all the subjects you're doing, good luck.
The cookie cutter model.
Yeah, and literally everyone does the same subject, and at the end you all come out exactly the same.
Yeah.
I like degrees with more flexibility where, yes, we've got 8 core subjects, but you've got 16 subjects to explore your world and maybe find out that you either are going to be an accountant because you love it or you never want to do accounting again. And so for me, I used to sit in my friends' lectures. We did, when I was doing second year of pharmacy, we had 36 contact hours a week. It was, brutal.
Wow.
And as a break, I'd go and sit in my friends' lectures, and it was a marketing lecture. And I said to him, is this all there is to it? And he said, what do you mean? I said, is this marketing? It's because I'm really interested. So when I finished my degree and went and worked and realized I didn't want to do that, I went off and did a business and marketing degree and found the love of my life. It was like, it was just, this is amazing. People actually get paid to do this. It was, and the thing I'd ask is, or students to think about is, there's a really old saying, if you work in a job you love, you never work a day in your life. And I work in a job I loved. And yeah, I discovered marketing and have never let it go. And I've just pursued it in degree after degree, and it's been amazing. And my jobs, I've had jobs in marketing, I've had consulting jobs around marketing. It's fun just changing people's perceptions and getting them to understand who you are, what you are at a much deeper level.
I also have another question. So who is a better business student, somebody who is looking at getting into a job, or somebody who is looking at creating their own empire?
Both. There's no better business student, okay? So someone who wants to get a job, if they know what they want to do, they'll pursue it with passion. My answer to that question is someone with passion. Because I'm not fussed whether you say, I want to do this, I want to be an accountant, because I've met some of the most passionate people I've met are accountants. They're brilliant. We've got a partnership back in Hawthorne with a firm that had 2 of our graduates go to the boss of the firm and say, I think financial crimes are the future, as in investigating them. So they now pay our students to learn how to investigate financial crimes, which then leads them to be employed by the Australian Federal Police and banks, so they can investigate financial crimes. This is 2 accounting students with a passion. Entrepreneurs amaze me, because every entrepreneur I meet, just regardless of the challenges, they keep pushing through. It's this burning inside that they can't stop. And even if they don't want to do it, they'll do it. They take risks. I really admire that. So both are good students. It just depends on what drives them. So the thing I'd always ask a student is, what's your burning passion? And same when I take on a doctoral student. My little speech to them is, please tell me you love this, because there's going to be a hard time somewhere in the middle. And if you don't love it, you won't finish. And the ones that finish are the ones that love what they're doing. And then they pursue it for the rest of their lives.
Persistence.
Yeah. So yeah, getting a doctorate is a little bit of intelligence and a lot of persistence.
That I'd like to know, what was your doctorate on? What was your research?
Defining and operationalizing brand salience. I was looking at how we create top of mind awareness for a range of brands. So I was trying to generate a model for fast moving consumer goods, durables, things like fridges and cars, and services, so bank services. So I looked at shampoo, banks and cars, and I got consumers to recall a brand. I gave them a minute to recall all the brands that they knew. Found some really interesting stuff, and then put that into a structural equation model where I mapped out what factors led to higher brand salience and what factors led away from brand salience. Yeah, it was a good project. It was fun.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it was. I interviewed some bald people who got very angry when I asked them about shampoo. One person accused me of being hairless. He said, what is it? What is it? I've got no hair. I said, yeah, it's okay, mate. It's a question. So he stormed out and refused to participate because I asked him what brands of shampoo he knew. And yeah, that was great.
Great. So Julian, from Coles to Siemens to Opera Australia, you work with brands across widely different sectors. What unites them when it comes to understanding their customers?
Quality. Siemens make the best products in the world. Their strapline was all about quality. Opera Australia, amazing. The Australian Football League, who I've worked with, amazing. They all understand their customers. Their focus is the customer. So Siemens, for a little while, had a focus on product, but then they realized they've got to talk to their customers. Here's what our customers want and need. So I worked with them in Thailand. Opera Australia, we did some research on how do we generate loyalty in customers? How do we get, because opera is traditionally in Australia for older generations, and the older generation is fading away.
Yeah.
So how do we get younger people? What do we do with opera? Because traditional opera might not appeal to the younger market, so they were finding new and innovative ways to get to get people who are younger, and by younger I mean 30 to 50, because their market was 70. So understanding and segmenting a different market. They all concentrate on quality. They work really hard on building quality and maintaining a strong, consistent brand. They never mess with their brand. The brand is always, here's our vision, here's how it goes. The biggest arguments I've had when consulting are you get a new CEO who wants to change the brand. And I've walked away from quite lucrative consulting jobs because I walked into one, it was a private school in one of the states in Australia, and a new CEO or principal, and he said, I want to change the brand. And I just said, thank you for flying me over. I'm now going to leave. My advice is never change your brand. It was the oldest brand in Australia.
Wow.
It had 150 years of brand equity, and the worst thing they could have done was change the brand.
Did they change it?
No.
They did.
No,
So they listened to you.
he was pushing, and then he contacted me and I explained all of the reasons why you'd never touch that brand. It was a successful school. Didn't need to be modernized. That the school did, but the brand itself, leave it. Just leave it. It's so you don't change your brand unless you're legally forced to. So unless you've stolen someone else's brand or there's a legal reason that you change your brand, if your brand's successful, you can modernize that very slowly. Apple do that, but they don't change their brand. Quality and consumer friendliness. Thing about an Apple is you pick it up and it works. Thing about a non-Apple is you have to install software, you have to understand how it works. You can drag and drop on an Apple. That's great.
Yeah. I think. So in your profile, I also figured out that you've done something in sports.
Yeah.
So you've explored sports events attendance in your research.
Yes.
What can universities learn from sporting brands about building loyalty and emotion with their students?
Cool. So the lots of research in sports. I'm a bit passionate about sport.
And sports is now huge, right?
Sports is huge, and it's huge
and especially in this
Qatar.
part of the world.
Yeah.
Right?
So you've got the Olympics coming. You've had the World Cup. Amazing events.
Asian Games happening soon.
Asian Games happening soon. Great soccer events. Consumers, all right. So sport fans, you have the intensely loyal. These are people that paint the team colours on their body. They're nothing you do will change their mind. What you need to do is figure out who are the lighter users and how do we attract them. So some stuff we've done to increase fan membership was some of the research was not all fans can afford $1,000 a year to pay for a membership. So what sort of members can we have? We can have, so there's 24 games in an AFL season. We can have a 10-game membership, a 5-game, a 3-game, or a 2-game membership. And one that surprised us was a pet membership. You can pay for your pet to get a membership and they get a little scarf and a little jacket. People bought that. It was really amazing because what it means is they're still in touch with the club. They have a sense of belonging, which is really important. What universities need to do is find different degrees, different pathways, but also find a way to keep in touch with their students and their alumni. Once you've been to a uni, you're part of that uni for the rest of your life. And we do that with Swinburne. When we land in a place, we tend to contact alumni and say, hey, we're here, come and catch up. I'm now a member of, I think, 5 different unis, and I'm still in touch with all of those. I've got a reunion coming up soon. It's just about me feeling like I belong and feeling an important part of their whole infrastructure. And so unis need to treat their students or they need to make them belong and feel like they belong. And once they graduate, just get them to keep being part of the uni, keep coming back. So what the research from sports showed was there's a whole range of different memberships and belonging. You need to foster belonging, and communication's the key. Always talk to your customers. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them why they're important.
Yeah. So Julian, when you say, because I've always thought university is all about life after graduation.
Yep.
But university is also about how you create experiences. How do you find a balance?
So university is about education a little bit, but it's also about making the students really want to be there. How do you do that? Well, you make class interesting. You make activities between class. You get students to go and talk to industry and be part of industry. And then you get them to come back when they graduate so they can educate the next group of students and mentor them. It's always about, you're important to us, so keep coming back. We want to be in touch with you. So the experience isn't just what happens in the classroom. What the experience is for me is the friends you make, the contacts you make. So we have students, we've got partners all around the world. We try and send our students out to partners because Australia's a long way from anywhere. And if we want to do business, we need to work with other cultures, nationalities, and groups of people. So I want my students to go and experience Qatar. I want my students to experience Vietnam and study there for a little while and see how they learn, how they do business. And, I run focus groups with my students to find out what makes them happy and what the next thing. And a lot of them say they want to go and study and work in groups with kids from Qatar, kids from Vietnam, kids from all around the world. because their view is, as a business person, in 10 years, they're their business partners.
Yep.
That's where, and Qatar's a hub for the whole world. So we need our students and we need your guys to come to Australia to see how we do business. Because if you understand how someone does business, you have this slight cultural nuances, then you make better decisions, lifelong decisions too.
Looking forward for that. So many of our students and parents are overwhelmed with options. I think we are overwhelmed with options for everything, right? In your view, how do too many choices can affect consumer behavior?
It's a really lovely study out of America by Pink. It's called the paradox of choice. And the example he uses is when you go into a restaurant, if they have a menu that's 100 pages, you won't make a choice. When you go into a supermarket, you know the brands you want and love. And this is the importance of branding, right? If I know the brand I love, what it does for me is it offers me a shortcut. So I don't need to go and investigate all the brands on the shelf. I can look at one brand. So when we have too many choices, what we do as consumers is we use heuristics, rules of thumb to narrow it down. So what's a good uni? What's got a good reputation? What's its ranking in the world? Have I met the people that will teach me? Do I like them? So it's, how close is it to me? They're the things that we need to, or students will do and parents will do. So university rankings are incredibly important. The research profile of staff, teaching reputation. Are they good? Do they matter? And so we use shortcuts because there are 24,900 universities in the world currently. So you can spend the rest of your life making a choice. And there's a medical condition where people are unable to make choices. There's a study on a person trying to choose a mattress, and he'd visited 1,000 stores and taken 3 years and still hadn't made a choice. So as consumers, we can do that and never make a choice, or we can start to say, these are the 5 things that I will use to choose. So when we choose a car, there's thousands of car brands. So you might go on reputation, quality, size, if you've got family, reliability, and price. So that's what we need to do for universities.
And I think especially now, I mean, when it comes to something like a car, it's tricky, right, to select something based on the price.
Because price doesn't always indicate everything. So that's where you go for reputation, reliability. Do your friends drive it? Have you ever driven one? This is why car companies let you test drive, so you can experience it and feel it and love it. They won't let me test drive a Ferrari yet, but I'm sure one day they will. But yeah, this is how we make a choice, is we visit a place, we look at it, and we talk to the people that work there.
And thanks for that. So what do you wish every business student understood about real branding before walking into their first job interview?
Brands are important, consistency is important, treating a brand with respect. So brands can take 100 years to build, but you can destroy them very, very quickly. And for me, just understanding that once you've got a brand, you've got to love it. Your consumers don't have to love it, but you do, because that's the most important thing in your world. And if your brand suffers, your whole company goes down. The other thing I'd say to students is your degree doesn't define your career. You can start off in a science degree and move to business. Just the education is the most important thing, because you'll learn how to think, you'll learn how to write, you'll learn how to use artificial intelligence, and you'll learn all these skills, these soft skills, which are so important. And when we talk to employers, yes, they want technical skills, but what they really want are students who can present, who can analyze data, who can write, and who can speak really clearly and think. Every time we talk to them, they come back with the same skill sets.
And I think to add to that, I think we always talk about soft skills and how universities can help them build this.
The way we build soft skills is, and I know not every student loves this, but teamwork. We teach students how to work in a team, the importance of working in a team, because in their first job, most of them are going to be put into a team and told, here's the people you're working with, work with them. Communication for us is key, but critical thinking. Just because you've got data, you've got to be able to, and just because you're using AI, you've got to understand if that information is good, if it's correct, if it's valuable. How much information do you need? to make a decision, and how much more money do you need to spend to get. These are all critical thinking factors that we want students to understand. And soft skills are being able to talk to people and communicate my message really clearly. We also teach students how to operate in a work environment. So how do you behave in a meeting? If I want to get a point across, how do I do that? And negotiation.
So this is about bringing up your personal brand.
Yeah.
So what's a personal brand?
Personal brand is how you present yourself to the world. I've got a paper on it. Personal branding is really important. So what I do every year, and this is a me thing, but I do a SWOT on myself every year. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The only person that ever sees it is me. But I want to know what I think my strengths are for the year, what things I need to work on, what opportunities I can pursue, and what things I need to just stamp down. That's my personal brand is about being genuine, being loyal, and being honest. So every time I present,
it's all about qualities.
Qualities, yep. I want to present the same face to everyone. So everyone should look at me and say, I know that guy, I know what he brings, and his expertise is this, and this. And I like leadership, so I'm working on leadership at the moment.
I mean, in the world we are living in, we think personal branding is about what you wear, what brands you're wearing.
What you wear can change.
Yeah.
What brands you wear can change on a daily basis. What's globally trending can change minute by minute.
Yeah.
So Dubai chocolate at the moment didn't exist a couple of months ago. Everyone has it now. Will it be around in a couple of months? Who knows?
Yeah.
Fiji water. Do you remember Fiji water?
Yes. What's
It was a bottle of water. It was a little bottle and it was $10. It was water, H2O. Same water as everyone else. So yeah. But they come and go. But what doesn't change is you. So when people are hiring, you can go in a very expensive suit, but if your brand doesn't resonate with the organization, you won't get the job. And when you're trying to sell your product, you're selling yourself in a job interview.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself all day long. This is who I am, this is what I do. If you want a promotion, you've got to brand yourself and build that brand.
Yeah, and something that I believe in is, you can't become someone that you're not already, right?
No. You can fake it for a little while, but people see through that really quickly. And it's because you'll get into a situation where you have to make a choice and your genuine self will come out. That's problematic.
I think that's a great way to end the session. So we move on to the last segment, future focus, advice for the next generation. I've got 5 questions for you.
Go for it.
Right. Number 1, this is interesting. You're 18 again and choosing your first degree.
I'd still do the same degree.
Okay, choosing your first degree.
Sorry, I'm going to try and be a little bit arrogant here.
Mm-hmm.
I had finished my first degree by 18. I was on to my second degree at 18.
How did that happen?
I was the last of 10 children. My mum got sick of me asking questions, so she sent me to school, but she sent me straight into grade 2. She sent me into grade 1. They put me up to grade 2 very quickly, so I didn't get to do grade 1 because I was annoying the teacher. I started university when I was 15. My first year was I turned 16 in my first year, and it was a 3-year degree. So, yeah.
So where did you do your first degree?
University of South Australia.
South Australia, University.
I would still choose the same degree because it taught me, I was really interested in
Which is on chemistry, right?
Yeah, really interested. Taught me how to think scientifically. Taught me scientific method and rigor. So business degrees are excellent, and we're now bringing rigor and scientific method in, but how to run an experiment, how to design something, and also taught me cause and effect. If I add these 2 chemicals together, there will be an explosion. That explosion is going to be very, very bad. Mm-hmm. And understanding that then teaches you cause and effect. If I undertake this action, in a little while, something bad could happen or something good could happen. Think about what you're doing.
Yeah. This is more like the transferable skill that you learn from the program, right?
Yeah. So I learned the technical stuff, but also learned a way of thinking, which has been with me my whole time.
So if you chose the same degree that you chose back then, will you still be starting at the same point in terms of a career?
Yep. I would choose the same degree for what it taught me. It also taught me what I didn't want to be, which was that.
Okay.
So I know it's a weird answer, but it also taught me my love of business and marketing in particular.
Thanks for that. So how do you think brand loyalty will evolve in the next 10 years, especially with AI, ad fatigue, and the attention economy?
So brand loyalty is a really interesting thing because we're loyal, but we're not loyal. Brand loyalty has changed a little bit, but we still have people who are loyal to brands. And it depends on what we do. So I was talking to someone yesterday who used to work at Tesco's in London, and they said they developed loyalty by offering their customers a free coffee, which cost them virtually nothing. The only cost was the cup. So then what they did is they got customers to bring in their own cup and said, this is good for the environment. So he said at that stage, the customers were paying for their own coffee. But what it did is, in order to get your free coffee, you had to spend £30. So they were spending more money to get something that cost the company absolutely nothing. How will brand loyalty evolve? We'll still have loyal customers. Customers will always gravitate towards one thing or another. But what might happen is our evoke set, our consideration set might grow bigger. So we've got more information, we've got more access to information. The thing about AI is the algorithms are biased, and we know they're biased. So they will lead you down certain paths, but thinking consumers will still go for quality, and they'll go for things in fashion and clothing. It's driven by celebrity. Quality's sure, it's there, but celebrity tells us what to wear. In things like cars, it's slightly different. It's driven by quality. In things like education, it's driven by quality. And some education is where your friends go. So all of my friends are going to this place, I will go there. So I think brand loyalty's, it's evolved over the last 150 years, but we still choose brands that we know because they make our decision easier.
It's more personal.
Yeah, and if I have a headache, I know what headache tablets I'll buy because I've used them my whole life and they work. So I don't need to go and investigate all the chemical elements in the different headache tablets. It takes too long. And this is the same with all brands.
Great. So to parents listening, what matters more, a safe degree or one that actually fits the student's interest and skills?
Passion, student passion. So I don't know what a safe degree is. I really don't. I know doctors who have got through medical degrees and then become entrepreneurs. I know business people who have done their business degree and changed to something that's more passionate. Always follow your passion, because I know students who have done accounting and never worked as an accountant. In Australia, the most changed career is law. Only 20% of lawyers are practicing after 5 years because they don't want to be lawyers anymore. So follow whatever your passion is, because whatever your passion is will drive you for the rest of your life. And even if it means you change, and we know people change careers 5 or 6 times away from what they originally did to maybe something totally different, but the education sets them up to do that. So just, if you follow your passion, you'll never lose. If you go for a safe degree, you might not, you'll get good results and you'll get a job, but will you enjoy your job?
So I have a question here, because we meet a lot of students, a lot of parents. Something that we see as counselors is sometimes the student wants to do this. Let's say I want to do computer science, but my parents wants me to be doing business. How do we strike a balance? How do you help them? How do you help them? To decide or sort of narrow the search in?
Do business. Always do business. Don't do anything else. But do majors. So do a computer science major. Do a double major in computer science and artificial intelligence. So that way your parents are satisfied. They get their business degree, but you're pursuing your passion and you're learning something slightly new as well. So if you're really into AI and computer science, do business, choose majors that align with that, or choose elective subjects. I found a whole bunch of passion. As I said, I learned about marketing by sitting in my friend's lecture. Knew nothing about it. And after about 6 weeks of sitting in the lecture, I thought, I can do this, and I love what he's talking about.
So if I'm just after high school, if I've got a kid who is just after high school, and I want to figure out what my passion is, or where my skills, where my interest is, are there any tools?
Yeah, YouTube. Go onto YouTube. Look at some lectures. Look at some subjects. So for every subject, if you're interested in maths, go to the Khan Academy. They'll teach you maths. If you're interested in marketing, just look up Mark Ritson and look up his marketing lectures. They're fantastic. They're engaging. They're fun. If you're interested in finance, go and look at a finance lecture and see what finance. Also look at what I always encourage people to do is look at what someone does in their job. So go and talk to a marketer and say, what do you do every day? Talk to someone in accounting, what do you do every day? Because I think they'll be surprised. Accountants actually go and they tell companies where to invest, how to use their money, how to manage their money and their money flow. It's not just doing books. And they also go and consult. So actually go out and talk to people working in the field. And you know, if you've got a counsellor's day or you've got an employer's day, get people in to talk to your students and say, hey, this is what I do. This is why I love it. And get passionate people.
Yeah. So what's the subject you'd love to teach that isn't on the university syllabus right now, but absolutely should be?
I designed a subject and I'm trying to get it where instead of us sitting in a classroom, we take students on adventures. And by taking them on an adventure, they learn. So in Australia, we have these things called soup kitchens to help people who can't afford food. I want to make my students go and work at a soup kitchen. And from that, they learn operations management, they learn supply chain management, they learn marketing. How do I get people to take this product? They learn price control, leadership, and just staffing. That for me, you'll learn more in that subject than if I was to give you a 12-week lecture, because you're doing it. And when you run out of food, what do you do then? How do you manage that? Is it better planning? Is it better project management? So I want to do some subjects where we take very young students, 18, first-year students, and either take them camping for a week or take them to a soup kitchen or just do something where they're volunteering. But from that, we don't lecture them. We just say, what did you learn? What could we have done better? How did the food get here? So in Australia, we've got an organisation called Second Bite, and they go around to the food stores at the end of the day and collect all the food they haven't sold that needs to be used, and they give it to people who are hungry, homeless people. So how can we improve that distribution? What can we do better? How much does this cost? So you learn accounting. This costs this much, and that will stay with you for the rest of your life.
Is this like the next step of experiential learning that you're talking about?
Absolutely. Most of the teaching I've done, we teach a subject where we pay actors to come in, real actors, and we have students in groups and they have to make a decision on staffing. So who gets to keep the job, who loses the job, based on interviews with the actors. And the actors are excellent. They cry on demand. And for students, what they learn from that is being a leader and a manager is really difficult. And you have to make hard calls. And sometimes you make the wrong call. So not for the video, but at the end of the day, we get the person that they've decided doesn't have a job anymore. We get that actor to come in and start crying and say, but I've got small children and my wife's not well. And just watching that but that happens.
Yeah.
And how did you make the decision? And then we get them, we video it all. We give them back the video and they have to cut that video. So they have to learn how to cut a video into a 5-minute video for us on what their key learnings were. And we don't care what it is. We want to know what they think their key learnings are. It is a really powerful subject. Students, I've had students contact me 5 years after saying, we had one guy who rang us up and said, I went for a job interview. I talked about this subject. I showed them my video. And on the day I got hired, I got promoted. So I hadn't even started working there. And the boss rang me and said, I saw your video. I want to promote you. And that's it. That is a powerful story.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
And my last one for you, sir.
Yeah.
In 2035, success will belong to those who
are adaptable. They change. They're willing to change. They're willing to learn. I never see I've got a lot of degrees, but I've never learned enough. I will always need to learn more. So AI is a new thing, and learning languages, everything just to keep your brain going. But also the world changes so rapidly. We need to be willing to keep learning and keep changing. That's who will be the winners in 2035. The next generation. Cool.
Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation.
Okay?
I didn't see the time going. A great conversation. That was Dr. Julian Vieceli reminding us, whether you're choosing a mobile, a car, or a university, attention is earned, not given. In a world full of options, what truly stands out is authenticity, consistency, and emotional connections. Whether you're building a brand, choosing a degree, or crafting your future, if this episode made you think differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, your story, your path, your brand doesn't have to follow the textbook. Follow Off The Syllabus for more real conversations with the people shaping tomorrow's education. work, and opportunity. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and stay off the syllabus.